Are Italy headed for a Brexit-like moment? I've read that they are. Some on the alt-right are saying that they are too, but honestly, no, they are not. On December the 4th, Italy will be having a constitutional referendum. At the behest of Prime Minister Matteo Renzi, Italians will be taking to the booths on his proposed reforms, aimed at streamlining the Italian government, reducing bureaucracy, and curtailing governmental spending. At least, that's what he says. Honestly, for the purposes of this video, the crux of these reforms aren't that important, so I'll keep it very brief. In Italy, the government has a bicameral system. This means you have two chambers, the Senate and the House of Deputies, that both have equal power. So if you want to pass a law, both chambers must agree, making the law-passing process incredibly arduous and expensive. Renzi is proposing to gut the Senate, reduce its powers, and thus give the ruling party the ability to pass the laws they feel are required. Call this a vicious consolidation of power, or call this streamlined and efficient, that's up to you. Oddly enough, the actual terms of this referendum are irrelevant, and here's why. Renzi, in a painstakingly stupid move of self-aggrandizement, has staked his power on the referendum succeeding. If it fails, he will resign, and thus most Italians see the referendum as one on Renzi's leadership and not on his reforms. Back in April, the referendum had an over 60% approval rating. It now rests at just under 50%. So, in relation to Brexit, if the vote is no, Renzi will leave government. Or so he says. Now, this could either mean another member of his Democratic Party will step up and govern the country until the next election, or an early election will be called. Italians by and large seem largely unfazed by this prospect, despite the media furore about a crashing euro and financial ruination. I recall one Italian explaining nonchalantly, "Renzi is our third Prime Minister in 4 years. What harm is a fourth?" Were another election to be called, the populist five-star movement could seize power, although this is a big if. Expect a video on them in the future. Fronted by former comedian Beppe Grillo, often dubbed the Italian Donald Trump, the movement are Eurosceptic and have suggested holding a referendum on the single currency, but not EU membership in its entirety. There are other parties in Italy that do promote total secession from the Union, such as the Lega Nord, but these are smaller and certainly not set to win an election, at least not anytime soon. The vote is yes then, and we have a continuing status quo. The vote is no, and likely we have Renzi forming a new government without him. Or perhaps, the more unlikely option, an early election is called, and that could maybe result in the five-star movement taking power, and they could maybe hold a referendum on the single currency, and then there's a maybe that the Italians will say, yes, it really is a question of maybe, we have absolutely no idea. But to be honest, it seems more likely that the referendum result will be no, and that the Democratic Party will form a new government. I guess in a way, it's similar in that a vote for no is a fuck you to the establishment, but that honestly is about it, so no. What's happening in Italy at the moment is nothing like Brexit.